Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan, the Miyazaki man Sai, and today's going to be a fun video. We're going to talk about wingers. Arne Slot loves his wingers. We're going to look at his wingers at AZ Alkmaar, at Feyenoord, and wingers of all types, including 12 wingers who are very likely on Michael Edwards' shortlist. Go on Richard Hughes, get them in. As well as deep dive analysis on Liverpool's existing winger roster. So let's get into it. So wingers come in all different shapes and sizes, fulfill different functions on the pitch. You have your Ribéry, your Ousmane Dembele, your Angel Di Maria, the kind of jinky dribblers from out wide who get into the position to actually pass the ball for an assist. They are very prominent at getting the assist, playing the final ball across, being the one who facilitates the person who scores the goal. They get the odd goal themselves as well. Franck Ribéry famously passes in big international moments, similar to Angel Di Maria. In clinical areas, passes the ball. Similar to Ousmane Dembele, dribbles past everyone and lays it on a plate for a tap-in for the team's top goal scorers, like Messi and Mbappe. PSG and Barcelona. And I really do like all types of wingers. I mean, this is my favourite figurine. This is Cordelia from Fire Emblem. Massive wing right here. Winged knight. Look at that little armour breastplate. Quality figurine. So, I digress. You have some absolute crossing geniuses like Sir Stanley Matthews, Zoltan Sibor, Dragan Zajic, who are the prototypes for modern day crossers, the likes of David Beckham, right? And to a less extent, I guess Jesper Gronkia, Jermaine Pennant, David Bentley, that kind of thing, right? Crossing from an out wide position. Then you have other wide players who show a bit of magic, like Ronaldinho out wide, but with an end product, right? This looks like it comes straight out of Hogwarts, you know, from the world of Harry Potter. Sorry, that's something else. Then you have devilish wingers who have a bit of creative flair around them, but they go straight for goal, straight for the throat. Lionel Messi, Garrincha, George Best. You can't stop them coming in from out wide, going straight for your goal and slotting it in. And then you have wingers with heavy firepower. You're talking Cristiano Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, who can cut inside and shoot a rocket. Absolute homing missile from the wide positions, bursting, breaking the net. You got prototypes for them, such as Robin as well, who cuts inside. You know exactly what he's going to do. But he'll pop it in, left foot, bend it in, nothing you can do to stop it. This is also one of my favourite figures, by the way, Schwartz from Arc Knight. She isn't actually a winger, got nothing to do with wings, but she's obviously flying and heavy artillery, right? Look at that. Then you have creative wide geniuses like Pavel Nedved, Alessandro Del Piero, who live in the pocket, right? Very two-footed to both of them. Get into that inside channel, into the pocket, and absolute fire a majestic cross top corner. A Primo Salah, for example, living in the right half space. And then probably one of the most beautiful archetypes of wingers, right? The winger playmaking master with a playmaking mastery, starting from a wide position, but making things happen in and around the offensive third. You're talking Luis Figo, Robert Perez, Jairzinho, John Barnes, good old digger. So let's look at the winger attributes that exist in the Liverpool squad already. Let's get to the tactics board and then plug in the 12 wingers that I think Liverpool should be looking at and probably are looking at. Ikazor. Now, just before we get to the 12 wingers I think Liverpool should be looking at and how they would fit into Liverpool's formations, tactics and Arne Slot's team, we have to look at who we currently have in the squad. Now, just by looking at this, I've assorted them by everyone who can possibly play wide for Liverpool. There's a clear imbalance here. There's way too many players who want to dribble into a position to take a shot. Just look at this lineup here. Which of these is your classic winger around the outside to cross a ball? Quality cross, a David Beckham style cross, a Kevin De Bruyne style cross, right? Kevin De Bruyne is a winger. The reason why the comparison between De Bruyne and Trent Alexander-Arnold is super lazy, I'm looking at you, Carragher, is the fact that Kevin De Bruyne started as a winger. He's an out-and-out winger. He can beat a player with skill, beat a player with pace. Acceleration is excellent. He can weave his way in and out of players, burst through the midfield, bypass the press, create, cross, do everything. Trent was never a winger. Trent does not have the attributes a base Kevin De Bruyne has. The passing range, yes. Ability to hit the through ball, yes. If he's got time and space. Kevin De Bruyne can work his own way to make his own time and space. Trent needs to be played in there. It's a sad truth. Okay. I digress. Looking at this lineup, who is the best crosser in this entire roster? Okay, you're probably looking at Szoboszlai on a wide right position, or Gakpo cutting in onto his right foot, crossing that way, right? We haven't seen enough of Szoboszlai crossing. It should, in theory, be a really good weapon. He's got a very interesting technique. Hits through the ball, low trajectory, dips at the end. We just haven't seen it enough. The rest of them, they're not really crossers. The best of the rest, you're probably looking at Elliott. Elliott from the half space position, crossing in here, but it's not a driven cross. I know you get your width and your crossing from your fullbacks, Simicast, Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Conor Bradley, etc. but it's a pretty poor showing for our wide players, our wingers, in terms of crossing. I mean, Nunez is very good at going down the line and smashing a left foot one across. Szoboszlai has a smashed one to the edge of the area for someone to shoot as well. But apart from that, you can't really say there's quality. I mean, Kumas, yeah, sure, he's an unknown quantity for now. But just as an example, Kordon could make a name for himself on the right-hand side, coming back from injury. I'm going to remove Gordon for the sake of getting to the players you want to know about. Similar to Kumas, I don't think he's a realistic first team option for now, maybe in a rotation, okay? So let's look at the attributes of the wingers we currently have at the moment. And guys, if you've been watching my videos, you know this channel is about substance and abundance. I'm going to whistle stop tour several variations of what our players look to do. Nunez obviously starting out wide, very good weapon because of the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold can pick him up around the back. You can't stand off him because he's got time and space to cut inside, shoot across goal. Very good shooter there. Haven't seen so much shooting at the front post. Can beat you for pace down the line and drive it with the left foot. He's actually got a very good left foot cross, by the way, drilled cross. We need a poacher, we need a Jota in there to slot it away. Nunez is an effective weapon on the left hand side, but he's not an out and out winger, right? He hasn't got the techers or the skills. He has some skills. He has good footwork as well. He needs space to run into, but predominantly his close ball control and beating you with techers isn't his forte. He's a pace merchant, drilling it with the left or cutting inside with a nice right-footed shot. Okay, option, very good viable option on the left. Ultimately unlocked with Trent Alexander-Arnold or McAllister playing him in behind as well. Good option for left wing. Obviously a centre forward choice as well. I'm going to get rid of Nunez for now. Cody Gakpo on the left hand side. I think this is his best position actually, rather than the shadow striker, false striker, not false number 9. Keep saying that. Cuts inside, right foot. He actually has a good cross on the right hand side. Coming here as well, shooting across. The issue with Gakpo is, right, when he cuts inside here, I want to see him be able to cut with intent and purpose and really get there and shoot. You know who he really reminds me of? Kvaratskhelia, right, at Napoli. That's who Cody Gakpo really needs to model his game on from the left wing. They are so right-footed. You look at Kvaratskhelia, right, Kvaradona, right touch. Either bomb it down the line and chase onto it, or tap it in and try to drive in, or tap in and straight line run, right? And always opens his body for a right foot shot. He's so right footed. Cody Gakpo is so reliant on that right foot as well. But the good thing is they've got that long stride and ability to have the ball at the end of the feet and beat the press and beat the pressure by having those long strides. It's similar to what Gravenberch does from a deeper position. So Cody Gakpo, he's not going to be predominantly going around the outside so much, and if he does, it's just going to be a chipped ball, which isn't the worst thing in the world as long as your strikers know to look for it. But ultimately he's cutting inside and it's going to be a Robertson or someone, Simicast, bombing down the left hand side, whipping in. Gomez won't be bombing down the left hand side, but Gomez will be inverting in. So Gakpo is a legitimate left wing option, and in an Arne Slot system I think you're going to see him a lot on the left wing as well, but that facilitates a forward, Jota or Nunez in the middle, right? So Gakpo, very viable left winger, could start there. Lucho Diaz predominantly starts on the left as well, right? But you know exactly what he's going to do. Lucho Diaz, the magical touch, dribbling, head down, try to get his ball. He's not a playmaker like Ronaldinho who slips someone in and invents someone with a bit of magic, but actually he's quite good at hitting the slide rule ball over here to Salah, coming in on the left foot to try and slot it in. They do the same kind of thing. Salah in that half position tries to slot it across to Lucho Diaz to hit as well, but they're not very good at going around the outside. I don't remember many assists of Lucho Diaz going outside because he hasn't got a really good left foot. And when he shoots, he always shoots right foot as well. He's very right footed and he always comes in. I actually prefer to see in the last few games Lucho Diaz on the right hand side because he can act as a more traditional winger, and let's see his ability to cross it. I haven't really seen him whip a ball with intent and purpose. I want to see it. I want to see Lucho Diaz on the right with energy, busting a gut, get down the line, pull it back, get to the byline and pull it back. I want to see that, because I think it would be very effective. But on this side, very predictable, but they can't really stop him. He always gets into half space, but he needs his shooting boots on because that curved shot really should be hitting the target a lot more than it is this season. We would have won so many more games if he can do that. So he's a mercurial winger on the left-hand side, jinky dribbler, but not a penultimate finisher. He hasn't got a rocket shot. He's got that bending kind of shot as well. So he can't do what Ronaldo does with a knuckle shot. He can't get it in that regard. So ultimately, I think Luis Diaz is like a Joaquin Sanchez at Real Betis, the young Joaquin, who's dribble, take a man on, inconsistent finishing, not the strongest shot, but will get goals every now and again and be an absolute menace. Impossible to stop on the dribble as well, and highly energetic and works back and works hard. Very viable option on the left wing. I want to see him on the right wing as well. Harvey Elliott, very good in terms of playmaking from the right half space, cutting inside the left foot. But he's very good at a slipped ball there, or the chipped ball left footed, or coming in to drive a shot. I think Elliott's got a better shot than Salah with more power, right? He's accurate and he's got more power. He just needs to show it on a consistent basis. Still very, very young. And he actually looks to pass. He looks to pass. He looks to spread it out wide to the fullback, to the winger. He is not afraid to get to the byline and try to cut it back or drill it across. I think this current Harvey Elliott has more variety in his game from the right-hand side than Mo Salah. But Mo Salah is a better dribbler, and Mo Salah has better off-the-ball runs, and Mo Salah has better techers in terms of close ball skills, although lately it hasn't been working. But prime Mo Salah was a dribbling god. He really, you remember Iron Rick Laporte, right? Put on his ass by Mo Salah, and Mo Salah could drive with pace and really go direct. But at the moment, Mo Salah is lacking that killer instinct, that pace and ability to get in behind. He's reliant on the off-the-ball movement, the final ball, the incisive running, but he can play make from that position. So actually, Mo Salah and Elliott in current form are very, very similar. But I think Elliott has more verve in terms of getting back and trying to help out defensively, even though he's not the most solid defensively. And Mo Salah has probably better predatory instincts in terms of getting to loose balls or getting a position in the box for a cross to finish with aplomb. I'm going to tidy up a bit. If Luis Diaz is our jinky dribbler, right, he is a predominant dribbler, then the only dribbler who acts as a classic winger in our whole squad at the moment is Ben Doak. Ben Doak can run straight down the line. He loves to run straight down the line. He'll take you on, stand you up in this position, stand you up and try to go on the outside and smash it across. Now, the unfortunate thing for Ben Doak, and he is very, very young. He's diminutive, he's small, he's built like an ox, like a tank, like a Shaqiri, the power cube. He's got no power. He's got no power in his shot, and he's got no power in his cross. If he had that, he'd be such a good prospect. If he can generate that power like a Jota and Shaqiri, his pace, his dribbling ability, his close ball control is a nightmare for defenders. He can go outside. He can come inside. He's going to have to lay it off to someone who can shoot. He's going to have to lay it off to someone who can shoot. Long shot from Soboslai, for example. Get here and put it into an area where someone can tap it in. Because he just does not have the whipped cross or the power in his cross to hit it deep and far or with speed, or the power for a low ball cross, or the power in a shot. For some reason, he's really lacking power in hitting and striking the ball. But he's a dribbling god, a dribbling nightmare, and it will be very, very effective because pace absolutely kills, and he gets in behind. And with the ball at his feet, he looks to take players on, which means all your players know that he's going directly for goal, and they can position themselves appropriately, looking for the layoff. Okay, so Ben Doak is probably our only traditional winger in the squad. High potential, high ceiling, but the injury has curtailed his progress for now. Let's see him get back into prominence, get back into form. It'll be between him and Cade Kordon as the young wonder kid on the right-hand side. Now, Soboslai is an interesting one because, especially in an Arne Slot system, right, Soboslai could do what Arne Slot likes to do, which is a right winger joining in as the number 10. The number 10 in this case could be a McAllister, could be a Harvey Elliott, could be a Fabio Carvalho. Dual number 10s and one winger who sticks wide. It could be a Lucho Diaz, could be a Gakpo example, which is why I don't like Gakpo cutting in, Lucho Diaz cutting in, if Arne Slot persists in the right winger joining into the number 10 slot. We'll see what happens. But Soboslai should have a good delivery from out wide. He has shown capability and pace to get in and around behind the backside, but he's been cuffed a little bit because he's been responsible covering for Trent Alexander-Arnold, doing the hard graft and the shift in the midfield as well. So, unfortunately, Soboslai has been a victim of the system of Jurgen Klopp, and we haven't really seen the offensive capability of him, and I hope he explodes next season, either in the right wing slot cutting into the 10 or starting in the 10 position. He wouldn't be starting deep anyway, so let's see that. Mo Salah we know is capable of, as I mentioned, but he's getting on in age, playmaking, wide player, keeps the width. Yeah, we know what he's all about. And the last option is Diogo Jota, who isn't really a winger. He's a forward player who can play on the wing. He's got the silkworm dribble, sliming in and out, slithering in and out like a snake in opposition, looking for half chances, getting played in and shooting the ball across. But he can actually play make. So actually, in all this field of play, right, Jota in and around this area is actually very good at sliding the ball in because he knows the type of balls that players want. He has the tasty balls, Diogo Jota. Yeah, for the players to strike first time or to get them in prominent positions. But additionally, his off-the-ball movement is so intelligent that he's the only one, I would say, that can take the ball, stand up a player, get into a position, and have a quality shot on goal, right? Doesn't matter which direction you have him, very two-footed, and shoot with power and accuracy and deadly finishing. He's the only one in this lineup. If you give him the ball in and around the penalty area, one-on-one, he'll fashion a shooting chance that will probably be on target. Now, Gakpo should be doing that. I really expect Gakpo to do that. But the rest of them, I can't say that's a particular game. It'll be very hit and miss. A Lucho Diaz shot, a Soboslai shot, an Elliott shot, a Salah shot. Probably not a Ben Doak shot. But I think Diogo Jota is the only one who can do that. That shows clearly we need a penetrating winger who gets into the right position and can shoot on target with a hard, firm shot, not the curling shot of a Lucho Diaz or Mo Salah or Harvey Elliott that we've seen, because it's just too low percentage to get the right curve on it, to go inside the post, to beat the keeper, to get enough power on it. There's too many variables here. I want a drilled, driven shot that Darwin Nunez can sometimes do, that Diogo Jota can do, a Figo does, a Robert Pires does, Cristiano Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Gareth Bale. There's a name, Rivaldo. I want a Rivaldo in this squad. Oh, what a winner. Ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. And a diver. So let's look at player number 1 that could potentially add to our winger squad roster. And I'm going to line up our Liverpool players here just for an example, a representative example. Step up our first player, first candidate, Japanese diminutive Messi, Takefusa Kubo. Okay, so big attitude, small player, right winger, left-footed. Have we heard that before? Yes, Takefusa Kubo has a little bit of an attitude problem. He's a little bit of a prima donna, a little bit of a diva, but he's quality. He's got talent. He's got a lot of talent, but he needs to show it consistently. So he's a left-footed right winger, very skillful on the dribble. Always looks to take it on the half turn, on the body, stand the man up. He can beat him on the inside. He can beat him on the outside. Now that's the first thing I think. We need the ability for our new winger to beat the player around the outside. Now, Kubo can do that, but as well as that, he can join in, he can play make from the 10 position, which is very, very good for Arne Slot system, because number 10 right there, play alongside, dual pivot here. Then you have your Jota and you have your back post or whatever, okay? Between them, that square, that power cube there, I love Shaqiri power cube name. That square right there is an offensive threat because you have the ability to work the ball, work the angle, work the shot, think across, play a through ball, whatever. Takefusa Kubo, left foot, he has a bit of power around him. He can shoot front post, shoot back post. But the good thing is, going around the outside right, you're going to have everyone diving in to try to get on the end of it. And Takefusa Kubo has a bundle of skill, great vision, great touch, ability to drive and dribble as well. But he passes, he does pass. And I think he'd be a very, very worthwhile get. The only problem with Takefusa Kubo is he wants to start. He'll definitely want to be a starter. In the absence of a starting right winger, Takefusa Kubo, great option. But when you have a Mo Salah, when you have potentially Szoboszlai, when you have Elliott, I know Szoboszlai would probably play 10, but Mo Salah's a big conundrum here. Takefusa Kubo wouldn't start every week. Would he be happy with that? Big size of Liverpool, it does something to you. Joining Liverpool as a Liverpool player, Japanese international, coming to Premier League, one of the biggest clubs in the world, with a new manager, wanting to make an impact, showing your politeness. He isn't a typical Japanese. He's a bit hot-headed. He loves himself. We love Kubo as well, but you know, he's got to live up to his potential. He's showing good things at Real Sociedad. He's only 22, so huge room to grow, huge potential. And obviously, you'd expect with Endo, right? His captain, international captain here, hard nut man mountain Endo. He'll keep in line. He'll keep him straight. That's one of the big pluses of getting Takefusa Kubo, is that Endo will keep him in line, keep him straight, or knock him out. Punk. Anyway, yeah, Takefusa Kubo probably will cost a lot of money. I would expect it's got to be at least 55-60 million to pull him out of there. He's 22 years old. He needs to get his metrics up. He's got like 7 goals, 2-3 assists, something like that this season. He needs to consistently get his metrics up because Salah is a metric king, but we facilitate Salah to get those metrics by having a system that allows him to get into that half space. Now, Takefusa Kubo can get into that half space as well. Kubo Takefusa is very, very good in the half space, but I want to see him in the final areas. You know, this kind of half crescent here. So ball over the top, in and behind, drill to the line here. 1-2s with a 10 who dinks over. Run. He's got a bit of pace about him. Quality left foot. Takefusa Kubo, great option. First option. I would really, really like him in this team because I think we need a starting right winger over Mo Salah, over Harvey Elliott, and he could be it. But he'd probably be rotation at the beginning because he's got to get used to the Premier League, and hopefully his ego does blow up. He's doing good, right? And he'll be in love with himself and we'll be in love with him as well. And Takefusa Kubo. So signing Takefusa Kubo would basically be like signing Mo Salah when he was at Fiorentina or Roma just before he exploded, right? That kind of player. I don't think particularly we have to facilitate major changes to the team to put him in. We have to have a defensively responsible number 8 because Takefusa Kubo will do high pressures, but I don't rate him so much when he's tracking back and trying to turn over the ball, helping out the defence as well. So once again, someone like Szoboszlai cutting in into the right back slot, defensively responsible, that kind of thing, right? Okay, next, more known quantity in Pedro Netto at Wolves. Now, Pedro Netto is supremely skillful, left-sided forward, attacker, winger. The good thing about Pedro Netto is he's Premier League proven. The bad thing is he's got an injury record, right? He's shown he has come back. Great first touch, get the ball out of his feet, stand a man in. But what I really like about Pedro Netto is his incisive running. So when you're up against the back line of an opposition, he finds the way to get into that space. Now, if the ball is good enough first time, he'll take it out of his feet, touch and shoot across goal. Similarly, on the outside, he can go away from goal and still shoot towards goal or play the ball across. He's got good vision. He's kind of well-rounded as a left winger. He has the ability to go outside as well, but Pedro Netto is a shooter, and we need a shooter on the wing. It can't be someone who takes pot shots and 1 in 5 goes in. I want a 1 in 3 winger who gets into offensive areas, and he could almost be that second striker coming from the wide position into the decisive moments, playing with the Jota, gut to the line, bang, to Nunez, even in a position that Nunez can't miss, right? So Pedro Netto is very direct with a good shot, great touch, great skills, Premier League proven, a lot to love there. Can he get over the injuries? Hopefully, because he's a quality player. He's very silky, very neat. It's going to be a high fee for Pedro Netto because everyone knows about him. He's a known quantity. He's Premier League. Wolves, I think you're probably looking at 65 million to get a Pedro Netto as well. And worth the investment? Definitely yes, but he has to keep fit and has to consistently perform as well. To be fair, he's always consistently a threat. So that's the main thing, right? That's the main thing. And at 24 years old, Portuguese international as well. He has lots and lots of room to grow. He really is capable of getting the assist. And that's something as well. Going down the line, similar to Takefusa Kubo, he can ping that ball. He can ping that ball back to Szoboszlai. He gets the assists from a wide position. I would bank on him getting a lot more assists than Lucho Diaz, for example. But once again, a very expensive option, right? 65 million is probably the starting point. It could go to 80 million. Is it worth it? I'd do it. I'd do it. It ain't my money. Of course I'd do it. And Pedro Netto is Premier League proven. That counts for a lot, especially Liverpool's transfer strategy. We want to see them acclimatise to the Premier League, how they do before signing him up for an added premium on the fee as well. He can do it in the big games. He's got great temperament, great courage as well, but 4 major injuries, 2 bad hamstring injuries. Hasn't hampered him too much in terms of what he's shown when he's come back, but it's a worry. And now a 3rd hamstring injury, Liverpool won't be spending the money on Pedro Netto. I don't see it. More like Arsenal kind of thing, right? Okay, next option. Yoink. Another Premier League left winger, Kaoru Mitoma. Now, we haven't seen the best of Kaoru Mitoma this season because he's been injured. And there's one big distinction between Kaoru Mitoma and Pedro Netto. He's Japanese. No. In the De Zerbi system, right, it's built on unlocking certain phases of play between a double pivot to get your players like Kaoru Mitoma into a position to drive straight at goal. Now, Kaoru Mitoma actually did a university thesis on the ability to get to goal as quickly as possible and get the goal, put it in the goal, put the ball in the net, and let's talk about the options later. Who famously said that? If you're in the penalty area and you don't know what to do with the ball, put it in the net and we'll talk about your options later. Bob Paisley. Legend. Absolute legend. So Kaoru Mitoma is super effective if you can get the ball into a position where he's facing forwards. He will take the shortest route to goal. He'll drive, and it's so hard to stop him because there's changes of pace and acceleration and directness. It doesn't matter where you position yourself, he runs in that straight line with the ball glued to his feet, and somehow he has the capability of getting in between defenders into the crucial area, and his shot is divine. He's such a good shooter. If Pedro Netto can do 1 in 3, Kaoru Mitoma can do 1 2.5 in a Liverpool lineup that facilitates him looking forward and getting into those positions. I don't think Mitoma gets as many assists as Pedro Netto, but I think he gets more goals. He would be the one you bank on in that position to have a quality shot that the keeper will find very hard to save because he's got an arrow of a shot. Quality player, needs to prove he can overcome the injury as well. I think he'd be cheaper than Pedro Netto. I think probably 60 million. 60 million sounds about right for Kaoru Mitoma. And once again, with his countryman Endo as well, Kaoru Mitoma is a way more level-headed than Takefusa Kubo. Not a diva, not a hot head. Down to earth, intelligent, quality player, there for the long run. 26 years old, but he's deliciously direct. I want that. I just want the winger to go straight for goal, smash it in, bring the ball back to the centre circle, kick off, Off we go again, get the ball, Van Dijk, into Mitoma's feet, and off you go. Change of pace, stand the man up, in you go directly. He can go around the outside, probably more Pedro Netto's forte. He can play make in and around this area as well, work the 1-2s, but literally you just want to get him in this area, watch him beat the man and put it in the goal. And from a deep position, right, Eden Hazard style from the halfway line, if you're looking for someone to directly go towards goal, jink, beat the man, it's a Mitoma. Mitoma, out of many of the wingers, all of the wingers on this list, right? He's got that Adama Traore, pace, power, skill, and directness, and much better finishing and much better mentality. Kaoru Mitoma, he'd have a lot of Liverpool memories. He'd make a lot of Liverpool memories, a lot of Liverpool highlight reels. Mitoma, Neto, both good options. Need to prove that they can avoid the injury crisis of the Liverpool teams of the past, because unfortunately our Mercurial talents do get injured. I'm looking at you, Jota. Now, to fit Kaoru Mitoma into the team, I think he's going to need brave players, ball players, the likes of McAllister, Gravenberch, Harvey Elliott. Even in left back slot, Joe Gomez is more likely to do this than Tsimikas and Robertson, who are looking to get around the outside and cross it, but Gomez will invert inside and try to penetrate the ball. Endo, McAllister, Elliott, Gravenberch will be willing to cut the lines with a riskier pass to get Kaoru Mitoma in and behind their defensive 6 line, right? Behind their defensive 8, double pivot, whatever you want to call it, into that zone of trouble facing forwards. If they can penetrate that line with a pass to get Kaoru Mitoma facing forwards, we are quids in. Kaoru Mitoma will cut them apart. Death scythe through the opposition. He would be uber excited. I'd love me some Kaoru Mitoma. Bye bye Mitoma. Now, I actually had 27 wingers in mind. Young, old, high potential, established players. I wanted to talk about 12. Actually, I'm going to talk about 13, but this video is going to get a bit long because I got too excited once again. Kaoru Mitoma, Brighton don't really have to sell him. He's going to be a key player for the next season. If De Zerbi's going to stay there, they're going to make De Zerbi happy. They sold McAllister, they sold Caicedo for big bucks. They don't really need the money. Pedro Netto will go if their offer is right, I believe, for Wolves. They're that kind of club, churning the players, right? Let's look at 2 potential big name signings. Now, one of them will come in if Mo Salah leaves. This is the kind of replacement you need for Mo Salah, Premier League proven as well. The other one is very unlikely because we have a very similar profile, and I mentioned his name earlier. Let's go with that one first. Kvaratskhelia, right? The fact that we have Cody Gakpo in the squad makes me think that we're really not going to go for him unless Michael Edwards and everyone is all in to say this is the man to lead us back to glory, to put us back on that perch with attitude. Kvaradona. I also want to spend some time in this video talking about Jahan Bach and Inte, Soya, Ivanovic and Pikesau, which are the Arne Slot wingers in the Feyenoord and AZ team as well, just to show you what kind of things that they do and what we potentially could see in an Arne Slot formation, the slot machine. So let's look at Kvaratskhelia, right? Straight away, don't know how to spell his name. Could put K there, but actually I pasted it because I'm like that. Well prepared. Yes, I think this guy is a top-notch signing for the fact that he's a dirt baller, he's a street baller, he's old school. He doesn't give a shiz. He'll go right for you, right directly at you. When you stick a foot out, he'll beat you either side. But the thing is, he beats you either side with his right foot. He's so right-footed. He's 23 years old as well, plays for Napoli, absolutely gets the fans on their feet, helps them win the title. They haven't won the title for aeons, right? And he goes in there and he absolutely turns it up, rips defenses to shreds. But saying that, he doesn't have the highest metrics. He doesn't have the highest goals scored. He doesn't have the highest assists, but he gets the fans on his feet. He can go around the outside, but he's so right-footed, it will open the body up to pass it, to slot it. But he's quite good at that slotted ball, that dink ball over the top, or cutting inside and shooting across as well. And he's got a pretty decent front post shot as well. And he can beat the man up, stand the man up by dirt balling them a la Suarez. But the thing is, if you're cutting in and passing that way, that's what Gakpo does. Or shooting near post, that's what Gakpo does. Or being around the outside and passing it, that's what Gakpo does as well. The fact that we have Gakpo, who isn't the most traditional winger either, but he's more of a inverted wide forward who has a good shot. Do we really need Kvaratskhelia? I'd love him. I'd love him in the squad. But him and Gakpo, Lucho Diaz and Jota is a little bit overkill with Nunez potentially on that side. There's so many right footers on the left wing. You don't need so many unless you're really selling Gakpo. Arne Slot won't sell Gakpo. Michael Edwards won't sell Gakpo. He's got a decent ceiling as well. See him come to prominence, left wing, confidence, new start. I'd like him, but it'd be way too expensive. You're probably talking 85 million, so you have to go all in on him. It's unlikely. Saying that though, exciting talent. He's going to do great things at Napoli. A big team will snap him eventually. He won't spend a whole career at Napoli, but it's unlikely. So let's go to a more realistic one. If Salah were to leave, Then Leroy Sane, okay, the old enemy. He's done us in a few times. Manchester City. He was super exciting at Manchester City. He's leaner at Manchester City. His hair was a bit more wild at Manchester City. He does it in braids or cornrows nowadays. But Leroy Sane, left footer, right winger. He's pace. He's got great shot. I think his technical shooting is excellent, absolutely excellent. I love me some Leroy Sane skill, and he can score against big opposition as well. It's just that mentality thing, getting him focused and confident constantly, being on top of him to make sure that he's defensively responsible as well. Skill, no doubt. Pace, no doubt. Left foot of absolute silk and majestic quality. Him bending it in from left. He's got a shot that Salah just does not have. That silky power, accuracy. However, saying that, Salah's off-the-ball movement is godlike, so it's a trade-off. The intelligence, game intelligence, Salah is way ahead as well. But Sane is younger. He's inconsistent. He hasn't always hit the heights at Bayern Munich. Gnabry is probably a more consistent winger out of the two. Kingsley Coman as well. Mercurial talent. But I think Sane has the highest ceiling if he fully commits himself. And you're wanting a right winger with a left foot, with a lot of pace. He's not afraid to go down the line as well. He's not afraid to use his right foot, but that left foot is silk. It's absolute quality. But I really think if you're allowing him that space there, then Harvey Elliott drops back into a 8, right-sided 8 position, and you're really looking at Trent to release the ball over the top into Sane, or over the top into a goal scoring opportunity, Sane going through and either squaring or taking a shot on the full punt or on the volley as well. Similar to Kaoru Mitoma, you want him to get him facing forwards, right? He's got a lot of skills. He can turn, he can dribble. He's so well-rounded. I even think that Sane could act as your pseudo number 10 alongside the actual number 10. Two Mazzala positions would be quite deadly as well, and on occasion he can act as your forward just because he's got that pace and direct running, and he's pretty decent at being an offside trapper as well. But Sane would be expensive. You're talking 85 million, same as Kvaratskhelia as well. But if Salah goes, you need a top tier, and I think of the top tier of the right wingers with a silky left foot, you got Jarrod Bowen, who I'll cover in the next video actually. Jarrod Bowen, for me, is the outstanding candidate, whether Salah stays or whether he goes. But the problem is he signed a big 5-year deal. He's loved at West Ham. He's a West Ham boy, fully committed, down to earth, married Danny Dyer. Says a lot about him as well. Love Island, or that much is, I don't know. No, but he's a good lad. I got nothing to say against Bowen except for the fact that he's silky. He's got a great cross. He's got a really good right foot considering he's left-footed. His shooting is superb. He's really good at heading as well. He's surprisingly fast, surprisingly skillful, with an awesome cross. English tax, yes, but homegrown English quota. He'd be worth it. I would put him right at the top of the transfer list this summer, and I'll do the whole dedicated video, next video, talking about the remaining, how many wingers did I do? Is it 5 or 6 wingers left on that list of 13, 12 or 13? Because this video is going to be too long otherwise. But look forward to that one. Make sure you like this video if you like the wingers video, because yeah, that will encourage me to make that video quicker, right? Subscribe if you haven't already. This is a channel Substance and Abundance. Really helps the channel. All interaction, comments, likes, really get this channel seen, beats the YouTube algorithm. So thank you. Domo arigato minasan. Hontoni arigato. Sane is the replacement for Mo Salah, unless you go with a more traditional right winger. So this is what I want to explore as well. So let's look at Arne Slot's wingers in AZ Alkmaar and in Feyenoord, right? Sane, we know about Sane. He's a known quantity. Played for Man City. He's done it a few times. He's always a constant threat. You always have to adjust your tactics to account for Sane, because Leroy Sane, even though inconsistent, is top tier with top tier ability. He could be a world beater on any given day. So I'm not going to go too much into Leroy Sane because he's more of a known quantity, right? But let's look into perhaps the players that you don't know about. Arne Slot wingers of the past, okay? Gambian international Yankuba Minte, right? 19 years old. Did you know? Even though he played for Feyenoord, he's on loan from Newcastle. We're not going to get him. Right-sided winger, left-footed. Arne Slot with a slot machine, slot ball. Let's wingers be wingers. He drives down the right-hand side. He shuffles, wait for the opportunity to go in, but he's not afraid to cut back out onto his right foot and do something with his right foot as well. He's very dribbly. He doesn't release the ball quick enough, right? A little bit frustrating, a little bit like Lucho Diaz. He's 19, he's got talent, he scores goals. He's not quite there as the full package of player, and we could go after him, but he's going to go to Newcastle, right? He's on loan at Feyenoord, performing quite well in the Arne Slot system. He's a Newcastle player. Let's eliminate him. But ultimately, right winger, left foot. Leroy Sane, Mo Salah, except from the fact he's not as established, he's not as comfortable on the ball. He's a dribbler. He's like a bit like Mohamed Kudus, right? Kudus is a player that I'll talk about in the next video as well. Very, very creative. A lot of flair, a lot of talent, a lot of confidence, but sometimes dribbles into dead ends and gets into positions where obviously the winger mentality says you've got to beat that man, you've got to beat the man. Sometimes you can come out again, sometimes you can rotate the ball, you can play the ball to the other side of the field, try to get on the end of the cross coming in from the other side, because obviously once you invert and once you overload one side, the threat is from the other side. So if you give the ball to the other side, then you go to the back post, and that's where your likelihood of scoring a goal increases exponentially. So Minte allowed to be a right winger as a pure right winger, which means that the inversion of the midfield is set so that when he gets the ball, he does not have to think about who is covering me. What if I lose the ball? If you lose the ball going forward, you're okay because you cover on the back, right? And he's not looking to go backwards as well, because a risky ball backwards losing the ball breaks out one of your defensive lines, your presses. So wingers allowed to be wingers sounds very, very promising. That's why I'm really excited about Slot coming in as well. Another thing, Jahan Bach and Paixão, okay? Jahan Bach really sums up an Arne Slot winger, right? AZ Alkmaar, who's the first kind of Asian top scorer in the Eredivisie for many a season at AZ Alkmaar. Then we know about him because he went to Brighton, right? Brighton's attacking flair style of play, releasing him in prominent positions, and then he went back to Feyenoord. He really suits an Arne Slot system because once again, similar to Minte, he's an attacking winger, a goal-scoring winger. He just needs to be set alone to do what he needs to do, right? Doesn't have to have too much thoughts drilled into his mind in terms of progression, patterns of play. Winger be wingers. Arne Slot's sexy, crazy football. I'm all for that. That's really exciting because unlike Nunez out wide or Jota out wide or Salah out wide or Lucho Diaz out wide, who have clear patterns of play under the Jurgen Klopp system because he's probably worked out statistics that they're more likely to have an influence on the match in key positions. Let wingers be wingers and be unpredictable and do their thing, because it's always very exciting seeing a flying winger, right? I'm not talking about your Jermaine Pennant or your Paul Anderson or Summer Asaidi, who was a good dribbler. We didn't use him much, to be honest. So Jahan Bach, Minte are good examples, but let's talk about Paixão. Now, being a Brazilian, you know he loves a dribble as well. Right footer on the left wing for Feyenoord. Mercurial talent, I say that a lot, but Arne Slot system allows the wingers to really stand the man up and progress the play. Now the thing is, with Jurgen Klopp, we get the width from the fullbacks with a Robertson overlapping around the outside, with a Conor Bradley overlapping around the outside. But in the Arne Slot system, he's very keen on playing the 1-2s to get these players into position to make the cross or make the decisive through ball or contribution. One thing about Igor Paixão as well is he seems to know where to be to get the goals, right? He's not the best shooter. However, he gets into the positions in the penalty box area when the ball's coming in from the right-hand side from Minte to get the goals. Similarly, they pick him out in prominent positions in the penalty box area because for some reason, the wingers are allowed free reign to get into positions in the penalty box areas to be predators. Now, the good thing about an Arne Slot system is they don't always cut inside a la Mo Salah or Lucho Diaz, which has worked on occasion for Liverpool, but it's pretty predictable. Even though he's right-footed on the left and Minte's left-footed on the right, they bomb down the line, they get down the line, they get to the byline. Jurgen Klopp, when the players got to the byline, whether it's Trent Alexander-Arnold, whether it's Jordan Henderson, do you remember the famous chip over to Sadio Mane, who headed it into Man City, right? Szoboszlai, if he gets around to the byline as well. Conor Bradley getting to the byline, pulling it back and crossing in. Arne Slot will work on getting to the byline and working from that position. Roberto De Zerbi does a lot of attacking style of play as well. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, because if we can get Lucho Diaz to the byline, Cody Gakpo, Mo Salah, Diogo Jota, Darwin Nunez, whoever, right? Bring the ball back into play so the person coming to the ball can face the goal. That's a much higher percentage shot, goal expectancy and goal conversion chance, right? Instead of playing it across on the diagonal, pulling it back. That's a lost art form. It's a dirty FIFA style. I don't even play FIFA. I play Pro Evolution Soccer. But that old chip through ball over the top, go down byline and hit back. 1-2, chip through ball over the top, get to the byline, pull it back. Arne Slot is very good at that. And if we're good at that, it'll be good for Liverpool. Because it's undefendable. Especially when you got Darwin Nunez with his pace and Trent Alexander-Arnold picking him out from long range from behind. Lucho Diaz, same. Mo Salah, the same. Probably Salah hasn't got as much pace these days. But yeah, Arne Slot's flying wingers, really looking forward to it. A big part of his play. In fact, I think the two most important positions for our Arne Slot team is centre-back and on the wings, right? More so than the midfield, more so than the fullbacks, more so than the striker. And we'll get to the final few wingers that I think will be on Michael Edwards' list. I've already mentioned a few in Kvaratskhelia, Leroy Sane. Next is going to be Jared Bowen, Mohamed Kudus. Let's talk about Somerville as well. A few out there like Chiesa, a few that you may not have heard of as well. We talked about Takefusa Kubo, Kaoru Mitoma, Pedro Netto, all goodies. I think we will sign at least one top quality winger and possibly one backup winger as well, because we lack pure out and out wingers except from Doak. I mean, Lucho Diaz is a winger, but he's more of a wide forward, inside forward. Mohamed Salah is definitely an inside forward these days. Pure winger, it's Doak in it. Until next time, domo arigato minasan. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to smash the like button. Until next time, Janet.